Welcome to another episode of the Sovereign Sphere podcast. I am Carla Joy Treadway. Today, we got to talk about the digital ID, the BritCard, the battle for freedom. This is big news. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that you can't work, you can't travel, you can't access any services. I don't know, maybe even the internet, unless you flash a government approved app on your phone. Isn't some 1984 Netflix script. This is Britain's proposed digital ID system, and it's happening right now. So the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, he announced a mandatory digital ID system, the BritCard, and he wants it to be implemented by 2029. In this episode, we're going to explore what's happening, what's at stake, and why this isn't just about Britain. It's part of a global digital identity push. Before we get into this week's episode, this episode is brought to you by Silver Gold Bull. The most practical way to take your power back right now is to increase wealth. I don't know if you guys have seen the price of gold lately, but it is soaring. I did a whole episode too on what's happening in the United States and how that might affect the price of gold. Go check it out. In the meantime, Silver Gold Bull is a trusted source where you can buy precious metals. You can protect your wealth in case something like, I don't know, Venezuela happens to Canadian currency. Who knows? It's a practical, safe way to store wealth. And I'm super happy to partner with Silver Gold Bull. Now, let's get back into it here. So, what's happening in the UK? Well, Starmer just said you will not be able to work in the UK if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Really terrifying how he approached it too. Like very dystopian, very, I don't want to say bossy. It's scarier than that. His claim is that it's going to reduce illegal immigration and just simplify access to public services. How convenient. And honestly, guys, in this DoorDash world, most people are going to fall hook, line, and sinker for this like really basic narrative. So Tony Blair attempted digital IDs in 2005, and then they scrapped it in 2010 because they noticed it was just going to be super intrusive and very, very costly. Only wartime Britain ever had compulsory ID. So their implementation plan is that it's going to be app-based ID. It's going to have your name, your date of birth, your nationality, your residency status, biometric features, creepy, and your employers or your landlords are going to be required to check your papers. I don't mean I know what I do mean to make fun. There's nothing off limits for comedy. Nothing. Even the dark stuff. I digress. So when surveyed the people in the UK, TBI and Labour together showed that there was 50 to 62% support, but Big Brother Watch found 63% don't trust the government with their digital security. There's now a petition with 830,000 signatures against the BritCard. I'm sure it's more than that now. So what are the dangers? What are some questions that we need to be asking ourselves about digital ID? And I really look at the UK like a crystal ball for Canada. What the UK is doing seems to be what Canada is going to implement here soon. One, of course, is data and privacy. What kind of personal data is going to be stored? Past hacks and leaks show that no system is actually immune. Will it go straight on the National Risk Register? Like, is this putting our personal data at risk just by being on this government site? What about exclusion and access? So rural broadband gaps, older adults who don't have smartphones, they still have their flip phone, maybe they have a home phone. People that don't have this kind of technology, does that mean they have to go out and buy an iPhone now to go and participate in the system? Civil liberties, obviously. Minority groups are already distrustful of state surveillance. Is this going to deepen the divide? Could this evolve into a papers, please scenario with checkpoints enforced by police? And what is its actual function? And is this going to creep into other areas of life? Like it's starting with employment, which is a huge one. Then what? Is it going to go into, well, you need this to get your welfare checks, to access healthcare, to access your own bank account? Estonia's model is praised, but it's also criticized for centralizing control. And I guess people that still trust the government might trust them with this, but I don't. I know my listeners probably don't. And then just practically, what's the cost, the infrastructure required to like create this beast? You're going to need to unify like the passport office, NI databases, police. This is going to take a huge amount of dollars, big government, big bureaucracy. It's going to cost a lot. And does this actually serve us? David Davis says this is profoundly dangerous. Kemi Badenoch said a serious step requiring a national debate. And Jim Killock from the Open Rights Group said the digital visa era has already left people jobless and homeless. What's the global context? Why is the world watching the UK right now? Well, this reminds me of the UN's Pact for the Future, a huge push globally for biometric global digital IDs. Everyone that was awake during COVID everybody was talking about this. It started with the QR code and the health pass, and everyone said it's going to move towards global digital IDs. People said it was a conspiracy. 82% of countries are now in development and rollout phase by 2025. Like it's starting to look inevitable. In the US, there's digital driver's licenses already in 48 states. I didn't know that. In China and India, huge, massive centralized systems. I have some friends here that go to China often and they praise like how well organized it is, how clean it is. And I can understand practically how there's so many people there. Maybe you actually need to control that amount of people. I don't know. But they also have slave labor. They also murder people who don't agree with the government. So yeah, I get that it like the tech is cool and everything is organized, but I don't think that's what we want here. Critics call this a global digital straitjacket. And lots of people in the faith-led community are making biblical parallels of the mark of the beast in this scenario, in the surveillance state. Like what's next? We're going to have our digital ID number in our wrist. How also is this going to start impacting free speech, content? So right now, no BritCard, no employment. So this is expanding government control into the workforce. But what about free speech? So the UK is already jailing people for online speech, hate speech, prosecutions. Guess how many people are in jail in the UK for social media posts? It's over 12,000 people are in jail. That's worse than Russia, the big bad guy, Russia. Way worse. I know Mark Carney's excited about this for Canadians. What happens when we combine the BritCard with speech laws? I can't see anywhere good coming from this. Like, will dissenters, people that don't toe the line, people who don't say the right thing, are they going to be locked out of work or services? Why wouldn't that link happen is a better question. Are they going to link these digital IDs to online accounts so it's easier for the government to track wrongthink? You know, YouTube actually just admitted that they censored under the Biden admin pressure. So you can look up the Jim Jordan hearings to find this out. YouTube is a highly censored platform. So is TikTok, surprisingly. Almost any political piece I have on TikTok is taken down almost immediately. When we connect censorship and ID, we're going to have full suppression of speech. So how do we fight back against this? And what do we need to watch? Well, we need to ask ourselves, do we really need a new ID system when passports, NI numbers, and driver's licenses already exist? Again, I can understand practically how a country like China needs a system of tracking, organizing its people. I understand there's a freaking lot of people in China. Do we need that in Canada? I don't think so. Is this just inevitable that everything is moving to digital and this is not something scary? Well, it wouldn't be scary if the government already wasn't creating these dystopian censorship bills. The key concerns to track here, we have to watch the legislation process in the UK Parliament. So this might be stopped. We have to look at these different pilot projects. So the different rollouts, government.uk, one login, like look what's happening there. Who is going to be enforcing this? Is it police? Is it employers? Are there going to be like side of the road check stops? That's scary. And what's the budget given to NHS and other services for this transition? Are we looking at millions or billions of dollars? And also, let's look at public resistance. Are there going to be protests, petitions, civil liberty groups like Big Brother Watch coming up? Is there going to be debate before they just roll out this thing as compulsory? This clearly isn't just about immigration. It's about who controls your identity, your work, your speech, and your freedom. How much control are you willing to hand over for convenience? Like, if it comes to that, if they say you can't work without this thing, what are you going to do? That's not like a black or white issue. What happens when dissent is tied to your ID? Are you going to continue to speak up? Do you move? And do we trade privacy for promises of efficiency? Like, obviously, no, that's an obvious no. All we can do right now is stay informed. Read Ross Anderson's parliamentary evidence, follow groups like Open Rights and Big Brother Watch. And I think it's important to bring this conversation up now with your MPs here in Canada and ask them where they stand. Like, start seeding this into their minds now before it comes to Canada. Because digital IDs are being sold as a solution, but they're obviously a problem. The future of freedom depends on whether we accept or resist the shift. And we're going to have to do this collectively. Guys, pay attention, but get involved. I think it's important to have these conversations. Know that just because they're proposing it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I would get ahead of this now. Like, sharing content is great, but I would be having these conversations with your local MPs now. I'd also be making as much content as humanly possible using your voice while you can, because I actually don't think it's super black and white if something like this passes. It's not just as simple as use your voice, say whatever you want. Well, I don't know. Are you willing to go to jail for it? Are you willing to lose your job? Maybe, maybe not. Right now, just stay in the question, watch what's happening. Hopefully, it's a massive failure and flop in the UK, and then we can all sigh collectively here in Canada, knowing that we don't have to go through it and the UK gets to test out this monstrosity for us. In the meantime, guys, stay critical. Thank you for listening to the Sovereign CEO episode, Sovereign CEO podcast, and I'll see you guys here for another episode here soon.